Welcome to Foundations TV, everybody. We are here at the Harvard India Conference today talking to some of the speakers exclusively. And we have with us Kalki Subramaniam, who is all the way from Tamil Nadu. And she is the first transgender woman from India who has played a lead role, a lead actress role. And she's done a lot of work in India around that area. So we are privileged to talk to her and understand her personal journey, how this has been so far. So welcome to Boston and welcome to Foundations TV.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm privileged and honored to be invited by Harvard University to speak here at the Harvard India Conference. And I take this as an opportunity to be the voice of the voiceless, underprivileged transgender community of not only India, of all around the world. Because in spite of the color, caste, religion, race, ethnicity, every person who has been identified as non-binary or gender non-conforming has been continuously been a subject, a victim of hatred and violence and of rejection. Transgender people all over the world have been victims of family rejection, and that single fact alone drives them on the street, leading them to begging and doing sex work and being the subjects of victims of violence. And this has been one reason why the community has never been able to stand up equal with other people. So I am happy and I'm honored to be the voice of the voiceless.
That's really a very touching piece of information that you have shared, and that is true that it's been a social taboo all these years, and people hesitate to talk about this in open. But what is it that is changing? What in the society that is now bringing out this reality, and people who are choosing this path of bravery and courage? I would say someone like you who's out there talking about it. What is it that motivates you, and what is it that makes you stand up and speak for it?
India has always been a land of diversity. It has its own very rich cultural heritage, and as well as the ancient history of accepting all genders, all sexual orientation, all types of people. And that you can see in our epics, in our sculpture, in our scriptures, everywhere. I think that has changed only after the colonization of the British in India. And after the arrival of the British and their imposing of the Victorian morality, India has changed so much. India has always been a land of love, a land of acceptance, and only after the arrival of the British, and especially they had imposed the Criminal Tribes Act during their rule, and that has ruined a lot of people, and transgender people are one of them. And till today, even after the Criminal Tribes Act was repealed in 1948, we continue to be discriminated at all levels in the society. But it is changing. We have been continuously battling with the system. And for so many years, we have been battling with the government through the courts. And in 2014, April 15, the Supreme Court of India finally recognized the transgender community, but it is still we are still battling for the gay rights in India. India being a mix of modern as well as modern as well as ancient, conservative as well as very much liberal, it will definitely accept. It will definitely acknowledge and accept LGBT rights, and I'm very hopeful that it will definitely happen in the future. I see it with much hope. Like America has always been a land of diversity with its own, multiple cultures, and that is the beauty of this country. But it is also of much concern, whereas our country, India, has been, once it was, once we people faced so much discrimination, and I had looked up to India, and today I am perplexed to look at America, what's happening in this country for LGBT people, because people have fear. Transgender kids are depressed and have suicidal tendencies. because of various political factors. I think people around the world, whether it's a developed or a developing country, we all face the same issues. We all need a dignified, respectable, and equal life like any other.
Beautifully said. The key word here I feel is acceptance. The more people accept reality, the better it is. So, what is one last question before we end? What is your hope for the future?
The hope for the future is that India, being a wonderful nation, will accept its children, whether they are transgenders, gays, lesbians, or bisexuals, whatever. Sexual orientation and gender identity should not be a reason for anybody to be discriminated and rejected. Our Indian families, even though in the past they have uh, rejected us, they have continuously um, made us marginalized in different ways. I think the time is arriving for us to be standing up and to be accepted, and our families, like the siblings that we have, like my sister, like my brother, I will also have the privilege. I had the privilege to study, to get educated because my parents accepted me. But I want other kids, other transgender kids, my friends, and everyone who are gender non binary, intersex, or transgender to be accepted. And they should also have the right to get educated, the right to get a better employment, the right to housing and medical services, the right to marry, the right to get, the right to adopt children. So they should have equal rights and dignity. And that I hope India will give us because we are India's children.
Wonderful. This voice of courage, I'm sure, will go a long way. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.